The following is the second part of a two-part series with the Montcalm Economic Alliance and The Right Place. Your crystal ball at this time. I'm sure you got a lot of things going on. Can you share any of things that are kind of going on that, I mean, you talked about the pitch, you talked about setting up, the M46 and 131 corridor area there to try to let people know. What are some other things that might be going on that people in Montcalm County might need to know or can stand behind or get behind you guys?
Yeah, so I won't necessarily divulge information of how many projects or what those projects looks like.
I need brighter lights in here. I need brighter lights. I understand that. I know there's confidentiality, but I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're all right. I will say we've got 7 active projects right now. One of those is in the community development space in the village of Sheridan. We've got a couple potential expansion projects with some local manufacturers, and then just some small attraction projects as well.
The strategic plan, can you kind of give us an overview of what that 3-year project is? I noticed you brought some notes here. Yep. We won't read it all to you, but we'll kind of give you the bullet points. I'm sure at a certain point you could probably find it on the rightplace.org website. But can you share some of what this next 3-year plan might be?
Yeah, absolutely. So the plan, we drafted it earlier this year, but in terms of when it will necessarily be fully implemented, we'll kind of go into 2024 and work our way through halfway through 2026 when we make a new strategic plan. The first of those 5 objectives, though, is to improve collaboration between townships, municipalities, and other community organizations and stakeholders throughout the county. So one thing that we've done through that, The Right Place hosts annually a different program. This year they did an Economic Development 101. It was an hour-and-a-half webinar that was open to municipal leaders, township supervisors, township boards, planning commissions, things like that. And especially being in a county with 20 townships, I'm sure there's activities that other townships can benefit from learning between each other and having opportunities to network with each other.
And that's exactly why I started Discover Montcalm. I wanted the east side of the county to know what the west side is doing. And I'll just throw in a little pitch here. If you've got something, give me a call, 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624, discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Because I think that's important. Because why duplicate something that somebody else is already doing when you can collaborate and make it bigger?
Absolutely.
So what's some of the other things on your plan here?
Yeah, so the second objective is to improve infrastructure to spur economic development, especially being in a more rural county. Maybe infrastructure can be an issue in terms of a business is interested in coming in, but if they have to purchase some of that infrastructure themselves, it might not be as enticing. So what can we do between townships and municipalities, especially through inflation and rising costs of construction and things like that? What can we do to work together to everybody's benefit? And a rising tide lifts all boats. So that's what I really like to think.
Faster internet for rural areas.
Yeah.
I'm done. I did finally find somebody locally that could do that.
Yeah.
But it was really weird that where I sit, my neighbor can get fast, but I couldn't. And I tried multiple places until I finally found one. But, I got fiber a half mile from me, but yet I don't have fiber.
Yeah.
And there's, so I'm not the only one in the rural area. But in this day and age, I think that might be part of what you're looking for infrastructure.
Exactly.
You got my vote.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
What's number 3?
Yeah, so number 3 is connecting industry, real estate developers, municipal leaders, and other stakeholders to identify and complete projects. So that's exactly what that Developer Day program aims to do, is find properties in the communities throughout the county that it might be an obsolete or a blighted building. It might be on a brownfield. It might be a space that just really hasn't been utilized in a way that people could see it utilized, especially people in the community if they drive past and say, oh, I have an idea for this. I'd love to hear this. I'd love to bring this in.
I can think of a couple of them just around me over here that are like, they were, now they're not.
Yep.
And if somebody could get it, one pitch for the Howard City area is that easy access to the expressway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, very easy access. So that's okay. Rah rah. Back to you.
No, and that's the point of that program, is to bring developers and folks who are in the construction and the development space who might be operating more so in Kent County just because it's got a bigger population, or the city of Grand Rapids, Sparta, Rockford, those municipalities, and really showing them that we have the willpower, we have the people, and we have good ideas of what we can do to develop and redevelop some of those blighted old buildings and different things like that.
Rightplace.org. You can look up Jacob at the Montcalm Alliance there. Because if you got an idea, definitely reach out, because, many hands make light work, but sometimes it takes a spark.
It does.
Sometimes it's just the way somebody looks at something different than someone else and goes, I think we can do something here. And, it sounds great what you got planning here, but I see you got a couple more.
Yeah. So our last two, number 4 is increase access to affordable housing options. As Montcalm County's population continues to grow, some of our housing stock doesn't necessarily keep up with that population growth. So what can we do to increase rental housing? What can we do to increase what we call the missing middle housing?
Okay.
Homes that are in that startup range of $150,000 to $200,000 for a young family. And then the objective number 5 is to just continuing to secure funding for the continuity of the Montcalm Economic Alliance. So, like I said, it is a partnership agreement that is on a 2 to 5 year basis with an option for a rollover at the county level. The county does invest in a handful of the municipalities all across the county invest as well, including some townships, some villages, and some cities, and then business as well. So anything that we can do to make sure those funds keep afloat. So someone like I can be in the county and help with those business retention visits, help with grant writing, connecting business and industry and individuals to resources that they might not have known about.
So if you haven't heard of the Right Place or the Montcalm Alliance, you have now. Rightplace.org to get more information. I'm going to close with a question. I actually got 2 questions.
Sure.
The first question, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to talk about? And we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Is there anything that when you come over here, you went, oh, I got to make sure that I touch on this?
I mean, we could go for probably a couple of hours, but maybe we'll do a few different installments.
Maybe we can come back in a year and we can do a follow-up on what happened the past year.
Yeah.
So that way we can keep people up to date in that case. But anything that I haven't touched on yet?
No, not necessarily. I'll just hit a couple of quick highlights. So in 2022, and then kind of rolling over into 2023, we have our business, or our what we call the bread and butter of economic development work. So people might think there's the tax incentives and the attraction of a big company. That's about 20% of what that work is on a day-to-day basis, and 80% is really those business retention visits. Going out all across the county, meeting with small employers, large employers. What can we do to help you maintain and retain the employees you have, help them upskill and reskill as the economy continues to change? And then one point that I like to hit, that I like to talk about, no matter who I'm with, whether I'm speaking to a township or a business, especially in these more rural counties, is to think about impact over scale. You're not always going to have the space to bring a 48,000 square foot building and 150 jobs. Maybe not to a township, but maybe there's an industrial park in a municipality that makes sense. So something that I like to think about is just that, which is impact over scale. There's things that I can do to help maybe a small job shop of 10 employees expand to 15, and then maybe someday they will get to 150.
Or if they can maintain at 10 or 15 and be, many smaller ones add up to the bigger ones.
Exactly.
And they all service in different ways. If we can look at the big picture, I know that you've been in Montcalm County. You're now in Greenville. Why, in your mind, should someone discover Montcalm County?
Well, that's a really, really good question. For me, growing up where I grew up, Montcalm County was drive-through country, really. Going down to Grand Valley. So really it was a stop at a gas station here or there. And as I was in the application process and the interview process for this job, just learning about how many lakes, how many trails, the hunting and fishing areas. Really, the outdoor amenities for me are something that I like to focus on. And I think going through the pandemic, not necessarily speaking for the entire millennial generation, but folks like me who grew up in a more rural area, went off to college, said the city and the downtown, maybe in an urban core, is not necessarily for me. So your point to fast broadband and good Wi-Fi and good internet in these rural counties, if you can come in and have a good spot to live, that's why we're in the housing space, and you can work for a company that's based in Grand Rapids or California or anywhere really, and that wage stays here in Montcalm County, and you can go take a lunch break and walk the Fred Meyer Trail or the White Pine Trail, or go out and do some kayaking on any given lake. I mean, we're within a stone's throw of a body of water.
Yes.
I think it seems anywhere in the county here. Yeah. So for me, that's something that I would say a lot of folks have yet to discover about Montcalm.
And there's a lot of festivals that a lot of these towns and communities have that are pretty much year-round. You can almost find something to do on any given weekend. Sometimes you got to dig a little bit, but there's things that are going on that you just need to check with your local chambers. You just check with your counties and find out, okay, what's happening in all of these communities. You said people, places, and was it prosperity?
Yep.
Is kind of what the current CEO is pushing. I like that. People first, then look at the places, and then how can we grow it into prosperity. So, Jacob, thank you so much for finally catching up, and we could finally be here today. Rightplace.org, your phone number again?
Yeah, 989-330-6443.
And if you're watching on YouTube, that's been up on the whole time. So don't forget that these are also on YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And DiscoverMontcalmPodcast.com has links to all the episodes. And you can grab the RSS feed and you can plug it into your favorite podcast player, and we'll pop up for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to maybe in a year hooking up again and just talk about a year in review.
Absolutely.
Because you said that you've got some things going. So in a year we can see, hopefully there's a new, you're always brewing something. But, that'll be fun. I always like to follow up and let people know what's going on. So thanks again for stopping by. And remember to buy and shop locally. And this wraps up the two-part series on the Montcalm Economic Alliance and the Right Place. A lot of great information going on in Montcalm County. Stay tuned for even more in upcoming episodes of the Discover Montcalm podcast. Thank you for watching and listening.
Connect and subscribe to Discover Montcalm Podcast at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast. To be featured in an upcoming show, contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624. Remember to subscribe at discovermontcalmpodcast.com.